Alright, I'm gonna film this video.
Okay.
Do you remember when I told you how I ran away twice already? The first time I ran away, well, it's a long story how I got to that point. But let's just say I was put to the hospital without feeling like I needed to go to the hospital. And they diagnosed me with schizophrenia. And I was with my mom and my dad. Looks good, doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah,
They're a little brighter than that.
yeah. So I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I've been cross dressing ever since, like up to that point. Even in I would cross dress in front of people and like try to get humiliated and things like that. I was pretty daring, let's say, back in the day when I thought cross dressing was taboo or whatever. And so eventually, my mom and dad sent me to the hospital, and they diagnosed me with schizophrenia. And I'm feeling the whole time. I'm feeling no, I'm not schizophrenic. There's something else wrong with me, and it's not schizophrenia anymore. I know what the problem is, but I wouldn't skip around too much because, anyways, this is a long story. Long story short, I went from 2007 to 2011, I think. I lived with my parents. Um, I was 20. I was probably 28 when they kicked me out and they built a new house. But before 2007, I was living on my own from 2002 to 2007. Anyways, after they kicked me out in 2011, I was living in a group home as a schizophrenic patient, and I was taking medication for it. And at the time, I had tried estrogen. Maybe I bought a bottle of it at GNC, and I had taken that, and it had been working pretty well. I just didn't quite. I don't think people were ready for me to come out yet. I felt a lot of pressure when I went into it. And I know for a fact that to be validated, I would have to wait on those people to validate me, and to that I'd be ready for coming out as a female. So I suppose, in a sense, you could say that this schizophrenia has just been a waiting room for me to get my sex change. But it's been hell, it's been a lot of problems. Anyways, I was living in a group home in Wichita. I came from Hutchinson. There's a lot that happened in between there, from my birth to then. There's a lot of little stories in there. Anyways, the biggest story I can think of is I ran away from this group home. And I didn't have any real reason to do it. I was fed up a little bit and confused a little bit. When I get confused, I usually get fed up. Um, I feel like I'm being kidnapped or something. And so I ran away. I decided to take control of my own life, basically. I ran away. I decided to go to Topeka from Wichita. And I didn't have a car. I didn't have a train ticket or a bus ticket. I actually started walking from the South Wichita to Topeka. I get a few rides. I get a ride here or there. Actually, some guy gives me a ride out of Wichita from the north side of Wichita out towards Newton. drops me off halfway on the highway, and then leaves. So I'm out there halfway on the highway from Newton to Wichita to Newton, and I'm tired, and it's like midnight, and so I decided to take a nap on the side of the highway. And I had a tarp. There's a tarp there, or somehow there's a tarp. I don't know. I had a bunch of junk with me. I took a lot of crap that I shouldn't have, but eventually I just start shedding it off because it's just too much to carry. And I decided I was wrong to choose to bring that much stuff. Anyways, I did have a bikini, and I was wearing a yellow bikini, bottom, top, and I had a pair of high heels, a blue high heels, and I actually get another ride from a cop after I fall asleep in the ditch there. He takes me to all the way to McPherson, which is past Newton. And then I start walking towards Marion from McPherson on that highway there. So I make it maybe, I don't know, 30 miles down the line. I rest a few times. I have all kinds of stuff. I have like a yoga mat. That's probably the best thing I had. Maybe a little blanket. Um, just entertainment stuff, like books. Maybe some books. I didn't need the books, but I brought them anyways. I've never ran away before, so this is my first time on a survival mission like this. So anyways, I go maybe 20 miles down the road, and then another cop picks me up. Because I lay down in the ditch. He comes by and says, "People are calling in thinking you're dead." And anyway, well, before that, I had been tanning on the side of the road in a bikini, which was kind of fun. I was trying to get a ride. I thought maybe if I was half naked, then people would more likely to pick me up, but that didn't happen. Um, yeah, I've done a lot of daring things, and this was like in 2011, 2012, 2012 even. Yeah, and that's like what, 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, this all happened, and I was still not a dedicated trans person. I was toying with the ideas. I was trying to, I was actually, it was only just a fetish then, and then eventually I dedicate myself harder into being trans, and I make it my life goal, and here I am. But anyways, I make it to Topeka eventually after a few more rides and a lot more walking, and some free food here or there, some free money here or there, people doing this and that, and I make it to Topeka. They put me in a homeless shelter. Well, there's a story. The last ride out to Topeka, because the cops actually started giving me a ride, and they gave me a ride through like 6 or 7 counties. Because they said it's desolate. There's nothing through those counties. So I was walking the wrong way. So they're like, we're gonna give you a ride. We heard where you're going, so we're gonna take you there. And so they put me in their car, and they cops switch off cars maybe every 1 or 2 counties. And the last county was a lady cop, and she must have hated me. There's some people who know me, and they just don't like me, or they like me, Either you love me or hate me. And she must have hated me. She put the handcuffs on. They couldn't have been any tighter. And if you can imagine how a handcuff works, it goes as tight as you want it to go. You could take the wrist off with those things. And she puts it on so tight, I can't even wiggle my wrist. There's no wiggle room. It was like so tight and very painful. Anyway, she takes me to the and I'm pissed off the whole time after this. I'm holding it in, like bottling it all up. I'm just mad, and I still got it bottled up inside of me a little bit. I just want to talk to her, and see if there's anything super wrong about what's going on with her and me. But anyways, so I make it to Topeka. She takes me the last leg, and I get to um, you know, uh, a homeless shelter. This whole time, no home, no car, nothing, just me and some stuff that I brought, and I had been dropping it off while walking here or there. And not to mention, I forgot to tell you how many pairs of shoes I had been through at this time. I was on my third pair of shoes. Not even counting. I was on my second or third, probably third, and not even counting my high heels that I ended up dropping off, thinking they were a little superfluous. And yeah, I was pretty confident when I left, but when I started walking, I kind of lost some confidence there. Even though I'm a good walker, I've got really strong legs, and everything's good. Um, and I'm at the same time I'm wondering. I wonder what if my mom and dad are after me. I wonder who knows I've left because I didn't tell anyone I was leaving. I wonder, do they think I'm dead or something? My mom and dad still have my vehicle that I had left behind when moving to the group home, and they've got my vehicle and they've got all my really nice computer and all these girl clothes that I love and all kinds of stuff, books and things. And turns out they sell my vehicle eventually while I'm gone. And plus, I decided to go from Topeka. I get lost in Topeka a few times, and then I see this most beautiful flower. It's a they call them weeds, but they're just beautiful flowers when they flower. Oh man, they glow. They are thistles, like a purple thistle, and there were thistles, and I thought they were magical. When I saw them, I was like, "Oh my God, those are beautiful." Um, all kinds of stuff happens in the future from this point on when I see the thistle in the Walmart parking lot. I was behind a Walmart in a field, laying on my in Topeka, laying on my yoga mat, and I had been bumming for food, asking people for food and handouts and things, and I wasn't doing that great a job getting handouts. It was a rough time, but that's just how it goes. It's always been rough. Anyways, I'm gonna stop right there at Topeka, and I'll finish this story in another video. So we're at Topeka. I actually start looking for a friend of mine in the next video, and that's when I get lost. And there's some more magical things happening around here. Hard to explain, like a walking stick that seems to make me walk faster. And I was, I tried to keep a guitar on me at all times. Things like that. Well, I will get back to you with the rest of the story, and It seems that eventually I decide not to stay in Topeka like I thought I would. And I'll tell you more about that next time.